Hey, what's going on, everyone? As I'm watching the news, I'm watching the state of the economy. I just want to give you guys this message. I'm not going to get into the protests. I'm going to get into the business of it all. And this video was inspired by a good friend of mine that I went to school with, that I did a video with, called Gigi, aka Gashar. The state of the economy is still in great shambles, regardless of what the president says. Regardless if you believe that jobs are coming back, regardless if there's a triple P program that they're going to incentivize businesses to hire and recreate jobs. They pumped $5 trillion inside of the economy, and that $5 trillion is trying to find a home. And money is always trying to find yield to grow, and is always trying to find assets to grow. But the problem is so systemic that the job market, regardless of who you were, was bad even before President Trump. And Obama was trying to generate and pump money and also create jobs to get American people and get the economy close to back when Bill Clinton left it off at. Now, a lot of people believe that Bill Clinton actually balanced the budget. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know any president that actually balanced the budget. And if you believe that I'm a Democrat or Republican, I'm neither. I'm not independent anymore. I just give it all up. I'm just like, I'm looking out for my family's best interest, and that's what your vote essentially does. What's going to happen? You say, well, the stock market is coming back. The stock market is coming back. My stocks are going up. My 401k is coming back. I see the appreciation and value of my stocks and bonds. I understand. But anyone heard of a bubble? And bubbles burst, bubbles pop. All these things occur with bubbles. Yes, if you get in and get out, you can make some great money when it comes to bubbles. But let me tell you this. The money that you have, the money that you may get a second round stimulus and you may not. Hopefully we all get the second round stimulus. Please do not go out and buy anything that you don't need. Because what we need to understand is it's going to get worse before it gets better. Now, I've seen a lot of videos. I've been reading a lot of things in the media today that a lot of businesses are hurting because of protests. Well, we need to understand that America has been operating off of debt since 1971, when Nixon first traded the American economy that was based upon the value of gold to the amount of debt that we can accumulate and throw into bonds. And then whoever owned those bonds, right, which Nixon thought that the American people were going to buy up the bonds so the American people would have a piece of their own government. But they don't educate us. They don't educate us about buying bonds, which is the American government, that you will receive anywhere to 2 to 4% return on your money. They don't teach us about that. So what happened? China comes in and buys $21 trillion of our debt. That's when you say, oh, the American government is in debt with China. Now, India is getting in the picture. Now, if you notice, I have nothing against Asian people. Whether they're Korean. I've been to Korea. I love the country. Love Japan. India. Don't matter where you're from if you're Asian. But I'll tell you this. India is getting in the picture, and they're buying up bonds. See, other countries that are coming over here are being fruitful. They're being profitable based upon the information that they have learned that we are not taught. So when you get money in your pocket and you're going out and you're spending and you're blowing your money, understand that it's going to get worse before it gets better. Places like, I keep hearing that, people are burning down Target. They're trying to make this a systemic problem about race relations in America. Well, that's part of the story. Because here's the thing. You can build a building, but you can't build a body. See, I don't want to get racial in this. I don't want to talk about in social justice, but I want to talk about business, because when all of this is over, whether it be COVID-19, whether it be the protest, which I 1000% support, because we need change in America, but it all comes down to the mighty dollar. It comes down to money. Why are people talking against the protest? Because the rioters and looters are destroying buildings and are stealing products. But what we need to understand is why they're doing that. Are they doing that because they're trying to resell the stuff on eBay? Or they're trying to resell the stuff on OfferUp and let it go? No. They're stealing the stuff that they thought or they wish they could afford. Why do they think or wish they could afford something from a system that won't allow them to go out and create businesses, to the system that won't allow them to make enough money in order to get it? Because now the conversation is turning racial, because black people, and listen, when people deflect and say people of color and minorities, we know what this is about. We know that this is black people being marginalized, disenchanted, disenfranchised, and knees on our neck. Shout out to George Floyd and his family. That is what this is about. And it's about money. It's about money. So why would I steal something if I can afford it? Why would I steal something and I can afford 10 of them? But I can't. And I'm not supporting the looters. I'm not supporting the rioters. I don't want them to jeopardize their lives, neither their family lives and their freedom. And I don't want buildings destroyed. But again, I understand. It's about money. It's about what you see that you want, that you can't afford, because the system doesn't allow you to afford it. See, the guy in the White House, he likes to come out with numbers, jobs, estimations about how the economy is doing. Don't believe the hype. Take the veil off your eyes. You're walking around with your eyes open, but you're still blind. You know why? Because you're listening to mass media. Just because you look at all the news agencies does not mean you know the facts. You have to go on Census Bureau, because the one thing that the American government does really well, and we have a lot of rightists and leftists, they like to expose people for their lies and their manipulation on TV. The information is listed for you guys. That's right, El Cool J, eyes wide shut. They list the information for you guys so you can have total transparency on your own government. What's going on, Aaron? And I want you guys to understand what's going on. Because after we protest, after we fight for injustice, after we fight for equality, because that's what this is really about. See, we like to throw around these terms and phrases. It's one, if I can sum it up in one word, ladies and gentlemen, this is about equality. They don't see us equal. And this is, again, I want to point this out, one thing. When we talk about Black Lives Matter, and then you get somebody say all lives matter, that's a protest to my protest. I heard this somewhere, and I don't recall who spoke about it, but he said there's a neighborhood, and there's one house on fire. And that one house that is on fire, it's a black house. All the other houses are white. But the white people would say, come and drench my house in water in case my house is on fire. And my house is the one that's on fire, but you care nothing about it. See, we need to look at this much bigger than what we are actually looking at. That is the issue. We're not looking at things the way we should look at things. See, people will like to think that it's all about police brutality. It's much bigger than that. Do you believe if we were like the Jews, and just to point this out, I'm not an anti-Semite, I'm not against Jews or Arabs in any form or fashion, but if you believe that we were as rich and we own as much property and own as much business as the Jewish people, do you believe that white America would treat us the way they do? No, the hell they won't, because we control their wealth. See, what people don't know And what black people don't know, some of us know, that Jewish people are the most powerful and richest people in America. That's what people don't understand. And when Malcolm X was talking about this, when James Baldwin was talking about this, they had to always say that I'm not anti-Semite. Jewish people know that black people are not racist against Jewish people. Because what? We can't be racist because we don't own anything. We don't own enough things to be racist. How can I be racist towards you? What can I do to affect your life? What could I do? I can't do anything to affect a white person's life if I don't own something. You get what I'm trying to say? Anybody see the movie The Banker? I advise you to go out and see the movie The Banker. Okay, I remember Samuel Jackson's in it and another fellow, I forgot his name. But dealing in white America, they had to get a white guy to front for them to buy the banker's building and then turn around to buy houses and property. They had to use a white guy. We need to understand that systemic racism has been in America way before your great-grandfather was born. This is 350 to 400 years in the making. Whether it be under the whip of a slave master or under Jim Crow laws. See, when people talk about modern day lynching, and then you get some people who just totally get it wrong, they're talking about police brutality. But it's much bigger than that. Again, this is about equality. And when we talk about reparations, yes, I understand that Japanese got their reparations, but the people who were being injustice, I think that was under Johnson or Nixon. I forgot exactly what president, but the point is those people who were dealt a great injustice, they got their own reparations. So the reason why it's much harder for us blacks right now, today, to get reparations is because we didn't go through slavery. Our ancestors did. But we were promised 40 acres, and you can forget the mule. But we were promised 40 acres. See, the original owner of BET just came out and said, I'm calling for the U.S. government to give black people $14 trillion, which equates to $14 trillion to the descendants of slaves, which equates to $350,000 for each African American. What you gonna do with that money if we ever get it, which I don't think we'll ever get it. But I've been wrong before. I didn't even know there was gonna ever be a black president, but the black president don't even say the word black. He keeps saying minorities and people of color. We know what this is about. You have a black wife, you have black kids, and you yourself is biracial, but you're black. You look as a black man, as a first black president. This is about equality, and this is about money. You guys need to understand that when you hear reports about stimulus payments, I give those updates. I'm getting this information from the government and the news, but I have to do my research. I can't just read one news story because there's manipulation even in mass media. So I'm telling you right now, we're in a financial bubble. And I want you guys, and I hope that I'm wrong. I just want to point that out. I hope that I'm wrong, that we are in a financial bubble and the gains and appreciation that you see in the stock market, that they will sustain, but I don't think so. Because anytime that the American government prints more money and pumps it back into the economy, they're trying to find yield, they're trying to find assets to incur more appreciation and value, which produces more money in rich people's pocket. If that does not occur, the stock market will tank. The stock market will crash. Because right now, we're in a pandemic recession based upon this pandemic, COVID-19. And some businesses are going to hurt because a couple of their buildings got burned down because of protests and rioting and looting. But what we need to understand is, you have house insurance, you have renter's insurance. I'm pretty sure they got insurance. Some businesses, they say they're not going to be able to come back because not everything in their store was insured. I don't agree with the looting and rioting again, but I understand. Your body, your family is more important than any other building. But when a nation has ignored a group of people solely based on the color of your skin, then I understand. Because I have white friends and they may not understand all the nuances that I be talking about sometimes, but I don't believe, I don't believe that they're racist. They don't treat me though, if am I racist? They don't treat me that way. And we're all stereotypical. If a white person or a black person are stereotypical because of another race, that's just simply being stereotypical. That doesn't mean the person is racist. But let me tell you this. If you are non-black and you judge black people by the color of their skin, by the configuration of their bodies, by their hair, by the way we speak, by the way we talk, by the way we act, then I will have you to reevaluate yourself. Because black people are a peculiar people. We are very different. See, our intelligence is not your intelligence. We speak intelligently. We speak intelligently different than a lot of people. Our prowess, the way we go about things is more outlandish because we don't care what other people think about us. That's why you would see a black guy or a black woman wear a whole lime green suit because we don't care what people think about us. But we will be judged in this country because who we are. Don't believe the hype of about what people tell you and what people show you. Do your own research. If you are lazy and you don't want to do anything for yourself, I'll tell you what to go out and watch. Right now, because of PR, public relations with Amazon, they're showcasing a lot of black films right on their display soon as you pop up your Amazon Prime Video, once you go inside that app. And I encourage you to watch I'm Not Your Negro. I'm Not Your Negro with James Baldwin. If you really want to know anything about Malcolm X, they have who murdered Malcolm X. They want you to believe that the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm X. I want you to go into the Breakfast Club and read the brother Muhammad, his testimony to who actually killed Malcolm X. See, the problem is this. There is a racial divide between Black Americans, aka Afro-Americans, aka African Americans, between us and our brethren in Africa. They will want us to believe that they're savages, that they're scammers. But this is all about the movement about Pan-Africanism, joining Black Americans with Africans. But see, when Africans come over here, and I know some of you saw that video about the African lady saying, oh, you guys are not being oppressed. You guys are lazy. Go get a job. I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her because she has been manipulated by the system to think that we are your descendants of Africans that came over here and you believe that we're lazy. No. If you understood what the word oppress means, then she probably wouldn't have said it. But that's what they think. They think that they can come over here and build businesses, and they have, and do well for themselves. They believe that we're lazy because we have not done it. Well, we are black people with white people names, with European names. My name is Raymond Ross. Put me in Africa and then ask me my name. My name wouldn't be Raymond Ross. Raymond Ross is my slave name that was passed down to generation to generation. Don't believe the hype. If I could tell you guys to do anything for yourself, I'll ask that you do these two things. Learn where you come from and who you are. Learn that you are descendant of a continent called Africa. Understand how those powerful people built nations, how the Moors went out and explored the world before any white man, before any Spanish man ever did. Learn that. Then learn about the inventors and engineers and scientists and doctors that came before you. Dr. Charles Drew. Some of you know George Washington Garver. Benjamin Banneker, Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, James Baldwin, Lewis Latimer, Larry Johnson, Emmanuel Nelson, Nelson Mandela. All of these people, I talk to black people all the time, and we don't even know who some of these people are. You got to know your history. People like Vivian Thomas. We don't know who these people are. So when we go fight for equality, don't forget that people before you was doing the same protests, was doing the same march, that was sacrificing their bodies out there just like we are today. We can't let this moment slip away. This is where we ask for equality. This is where we ask for rights. This is where we ask for reparations, regardless of what any other race may believe. See, when there's a knee on your neck and you can't breathe, I want you to come back to this video and understand it's all about money. Why do you think the Europeans went to Africa and traded and stole slaves? See, I'm aware that there was some tribes that traded black people, but some of them would like to take that story and say, oh no, your people gave white people you guys. No. Some were traded, some were stolen. But it was all about money. Think about it like this. If you had a business and you had products in that business and you had 10 workers, you had 20 workers, however many workers you needed to run that business efficiently and open 24 hours a day, and you didn't have to pay them one penny. The only thing you had to do was feed them. How much money would you actually make? That is America. That is America. That's when people say that my ancestors built this country. That's what I need for you guys to understand, is that America was built on the backs of our ancestors, because they did not get paid money. They got fed slopped, they got raped, they got lynched, they got burned, they got maimed, they got dismembered. That was their payment. So I need for you guys to use this instead of this. Use this first, then sometimes you might have to go out fighting. But before you fight, I want you to think. Don't believe the hype about the market. Make your money, get out of it. Don't believe the hype about the job market. Take your benefits, take your money, and save it and use it where and when you can. But if you believe that everything is back to normal, and which I hope that I am wrong, again, I hope that I'm wrong, I want you to come back, look at this video, and say, he told me so. I love you guys. Take care of yourself. Continue to protest until real change happens. Learn money and be inspired. I'm out.